So the last time I did a collection video, a lot of my shelves were kind of cluttered. Nothing was really set up in a way that I was completely satisfied with it. So this time I just took everything off of the shelves, which took a while because, there's so many little figures and not all of them made it back into the collection this time. Because I was going for a really specific look with each shelf, I just wanted it to look good rather than try to just stuff in all my figures. So this table here is full of figures that just didn't fit back into the collection this time for one reason or another. Like this Kaido and Big Mom right here are two of my favorite figures, but they just didn't really fit in with any of the shelves I was doing. Mainly because of their giant bases, like they're kind of awkward to fit anywhere, but they are two of my favorite figures, so for now they're just going to go back into their boxes with all this other stuff. And there were also a lot of little minifigures. I just put those in Ziploc bags and put them into a bigger box. So a lot of stuff didn't make it back in, but now I'm really satisfied with the way every single shelf looks. So let's start with the bottom shelf right here. And I'll be adding up the amount of figures I have in each shelf. In this shelf, there's 61 figures. Let's start off looking at the WCF. So right here is Whitebeard. It's probably one of my favorite Whitebeard WCFs. I like the little effects and also that you can remove his coat on this one. He even has the tattoo on the back there. But the little effect pieces, at least on mine, they do fall off with just the lightest touch. So that is one little thing that annoys me out this one, but I really like it other than that. And then beside him is Perona from, I forget what this exact set is called. Like, it's based off a drawing Oda did of like 100 characters. Yeah, that's what she's from. She has a little ghost, the Kumashi plush. And then next to her, we have Gum Gum Giant Luffy WCF. And this one has the red base because it's WCF's Shonen Jump mail order figure. Then next to him, we have some Egghead figures, Zoro and Sanji. And then beside them, we have Guernica and Joseph. Then some more Egghead over here, Robin and Luffy. I have them on a little spice rack stair step thing, so you could find these pretty easily on pretty much anywhere if you're looking to get one of those. But right up here we have some more Egghead, Jinbei, and Frankie, which are probably two of my favorite of the Egghead WCFs, are these two right here. I really hope we get another figure of Frankie in this outfit, but right now there's no signs of that. They haven't made a Grand Line Series one, no Ichiban Kuji one, so who knows if we'll get that. But at least we have this, at least there's the WCF one, Then next to him is the WCF Demonio Robin. Then this Robin with the amazing face. I really want to get the whole set of these. I think they made 3 of them, Robin, Usopp, and Frankie. Yeah, just like on the cover art. And then an amazing beast right here, Elizabeth. Look at that unibrow, the hairy legs. I just love these types of character designs. And then here we have Black Maria WCF and Blackbeard beside her. So this Blackbeard's from an Ichiban Kuji set. I think it's like WCF Party. There's also a table in between them that you could get to for that. Then here we have a Moria figure. Can't remember exactly what this one's from. But yeah, he's in his most recent look, which I think looks great. I mean, I pretty much love everything Moria's ever worn. And I hope to see more figures of him like this at some point. Then we have Madame Charlet right there by him. And the Egghead Usopp. Then above him, we have Gloriosa, Sexy Beast right there. I have both the versions. This is the newer one. There's also the older one. But she's somewhere else in the collection. We'll get to her eventually. Then this amazing beast, Igaram. That's another character I'd like to see. I'd like to see more figures of him made other than just this one WCF, like at least a Grand Line series. Then hiding back here is the Egghead Chopper. And then Foxy, look at that beast. And once again, this is a character that I really want to see more figures of, some regularly proportioned figures. But I love the WCF one of him also. Then some more Egghead stuff, Brook and Nami. And beside Nami, we have Big Mom, the wedding cake, and another Big Mom. And a Wano Ghost Brook. I really love this WCF. This is a good one. And then up here on the top step, we have one of my favorite WCF sets, the fake Straw Hats. So fake Frankie, fake Nami, fake Sanji, fake Zoro, fake Luffy, and fake Usopp, fake Chopper, and Robin. And yeah, if you get the fake Chopper and the Robin, you can hook them together with this chain like this. Like she's walking the Chopper. Then on the other side of fake Robin, we have Moto Baro, then that bird that's from the island that Chopper goes to. So that's it for the ones that are on the little stair steps. Now let's look at the ones on the side. So here we have Surume. He's one of my favorite WCFs, but the front half of him does fall off like super easily. Like it doesn't even, all you gotta do is move him and it's gonna fall off, at least on mine. So I'm thinking I'm gonna glue that on one day. Then down here is another amazing one, Arlong. This is a pretty old WCF here. And let's see the other side now. So on this side we have Helmeppo, and then above him Luffy, Fat Luffy from Whole Cake Island. Then over here is just a mix of other stuff. I almost missed one WCF, Boa Hancock's ship. I forget the exact name of that, but I also love the WCF ships. Then over here is a Moria, Super Effect Moria, and then a little Pepsi Moria. There was like 20 to 30 of these released as some kind of Pepsi promotion. Then behind him I have a little Kuma and Moria. And a little Zoro ghost thing. I forget the exact name of that. There's like a name for that thing. And then back here is a Kuma that's a little bit bigger. Still small, but he looks kind of big in comparison to all these little minifigures down here. And then a mini little Chopper, Cotton Candy Chopper there. And a Logbox figure of Magellan and Luffy. And on the edge is Blackbeard. I actually have a lot of these little minifigures of this same style, but most of them are put away right now. Like I have at least 30 of those. I gotta get them out for a video someday or incorporate them into one of my displays when I switch it up some other time. Then back here is Sanji from the Dramatic Showcase line. So this is from Enies Lobby where they're all standing across from Robin. And they have all of them from that set. That's a set I'd like to get, but I just wouldn't have the space for it, so I'm good with just the Sanji. Then behind all these little minifigures is the Portrait of Pirates Maximum, Jinbei. And I didn't want to cover him up too much with other figures, so I kind of created a little window. Like you could see on the sides, I have the taller figures like the Moria, the Kuma, and Sanji. Then in the middle, I have the shorter ones. So you could still see a lot of Jinbei there. And I almost didn't even put any figures in this shelf because it's a pretty low shelf. I have to sit down to even really look at the figures straight on. But I'm glad I ended up putting them here because otherwise all of these figures wouldn't have even been a part of this setup. I would have had to put all of them away. Then next we have the King of Artists Yamato, the Masterlized Dragon, and next to Dragon is an Ichiban Kuji Franky figure. And I think this is probably my favorite post-time skip Franky figure. I know the Portrait of Pirates one is out there, but for me, I just think the body looks really awkward on that one, the sculpt of the body, so yeah, this is my favorite post-time skip Franky. Then next to him, we have Luffy from the Signs of the Height King set. I think I have all the figures from that set spread out throughout the collection right now, so we'll see them as we go through the whole collection. Then next to him is Chiffon, and this is it's not a PVC figure like all the other ones here. This is actually an unlicensed resin. She's holding the little baby, it's amazing. Then next to her is the Masterlized Sabo from the same set as the dragon. I also have the koala in the collection right now from that set. She's in a different shelf though. So there's 11 figures here. It looks like 10, but it's 11 because the Dragon Slayer that Guts is holding is a separate figure. They have to be bought separately. So yeah, we have Zod here, really big, amazing figure. One of my favorite figures in my whole collection. He's just really big, really impressive. I love the sculpt, the pose, just everything about it. And then down there we have 3 Behelits. And yeah, I have that one right under Guts. So the base you can see that the Behelit is sitting on, that also comes with the Dragon Slayer. So if you had just bought the Guts alone, it would come with a different arm in a different position and just a clear stand to hold up the cape in the back. Then between Guts and Zod, I have my favorite Godzilla 2000 figure. Yeah, I love the sculpt of this thing, the paint job. He just looks really, really great. And he has a decent weight to him too if you pick him up because he's not hollow like those soft vinyl X Plus figures. Alright, now for the other half of the shelf. So we have 2 Masterlized Extra figures here in the back and then 2 Mega Impact figures in the front. Yeah, he's a really great one. I love the coloring on the fur and then just the sculpt of the whole body, the muscles. You can see a lot of veins, a lot of definition there. Just a really interesting figure to look at. And then I also think this All Might's great. He's gold, but I like that they didn't just slap one shade of gold on it and call it finished. They actually put like different shades on the different portions of his suit. And then even his mouth is a different color, so I think that one just turned out really good, and he's pretty tall also. Pretty big figure. And I was going for a theme with this shelf at first, like Zod, Godzilla, Guts, Uvogin, kind of fit that same style and color, but then once it gets on to the mass production unit thing and then All Might behind him, those two are kind of out of place, and then the Titan over there fits in also. But they are making another Ichiban Kuji Berserk set, so if I get some of those, maybe I'll take out the mass production unit and All Might and put those ones there instead. But I still think it worked out good. I enjoy looking at it, which is the point. You know, it's my collection. I'm the one looking at it. Yeah, I've never seen Evangelion or Attack on Titan. I just got those two because I think the figures look good. Like, the Titan Eren is kind of just like a giant naked body, so you can really appreciate all the sculpt of the muscles there. I love looking at the muscles on the legs, the torso, and then especially little details like the muscles in the wrist and forearm right there. Like, it really shows how he's kind of flexing his arms, spreading his fingers out. So yeah, it's just a really interesting one to examine and look at. And I also love the face on that one and how they colored the lines between each tooth so they really look separate. So really nice figure there. And then the Evangelion one, I like the color scheme, the hunched over posture, just a really good design. And next up is my Luffy shelf. So this is the first shelf I'm showing that fully sticks to a theme. I mean, I don't mind having ones that don't fully stick to a theme, but yeah, the theme of this shelf is Luffy and all his gears, all his Gear 4th forms. So on the left there, we have a Grand Line Series Luffy figure, then below him, a Gear 3rd Masterlize X Piece Luffy figure. And I had wanted to make a shelf like this for a while now, but I didn't have a Gear 3rd figure or a Gear 2nd figure. So now that I have them, it was finally possible to do it. Then behind that Luffy is a Portrait of Pirates Maximum Gear 4th Bound Man Luffy. Really great one. That was like one of the first expensive, high quality figures I bought, so that's a memorable figure for me, and I think he still looks great. He's what, like 8 years old now? 7 years old? Then below him is the Ichiban Kuji Battle Selection Gear 4th Kong Gun Luffy. And it's probably my favorite Boundman figure out there. I just love everything about it. The sculpt of it, I like how you can see like his skin kind of bunching up above his sash as he's twisting, and also the sculpt of the shirt. It does a great job capturing the motion of his movement. And I think the face is just perfect too. Then next to him, I have Tank Man. So there's hardly any official Tank Man figures out there. I think there's only the 2 WCFs. So this one here is not an official figure. It's an unlicensed resin, just like that chiffon that I showed down there earlier. And I bought them years ago. They make them in small quantities, so you pretty much have to order them when they're coming out. Otherwise, you got to track them down on the aftermarket, which can be pretty hard with something like this that has such a small quantity. So I don't know where to find them. But yeah, he's a beautiful beast. Then next to him, I have the Figuart Zero Snake Man, which is my favorite Snake Man figure. I've had a few of them, the Portrait of Pirates Maximum one. I have the little King of Artists one also. And yeah, this one's my favorite. I just love how it really captures the moment. Like, every time I look at this one, I'm reminded of his fight with Katakuri. Then next to him, I have the Figuart Zero Gum Gum Giant Gear 5 Luffy. So this is another one that does a really good job capturing the moment it's taken from. Like, it's pretty much spot on with the manga panel. And some of these do have some QC issues, like on some of them the sash won't connect to this little peg here, but the main connection is in the waist, so if you do happen to get one where it doesn't fit onto the peg like that, then it'll just be hovering over it like that. Not too noticeable, and this is probably my favorite Gear 5 figure that's currently out there. Then we have the Masterlize X Piece Gear 2nd Luffy, and I love that they made this one. I always like when they go back and make older figures, from older arcs, like they finally made that Gear 3rd figure and this Gear 2nd one in the same set. And he's bigger than I thought he would be, which is a good thing in this case. And yeah, it just looks great. I love the smoke there, and then the base is the Enies Lobby roof, looks really nice. And Luffy himself, I like the sculpt on it. You can see some bits of like kind of red shading in there because he's going into Gear 2nd. Though I do feel like some of the clothing is pretty plainly colored, like really flat, like the hat's just one color. I've seen Ichiban Kuji figures where they do much better coloring on the hat and then the same thing on the shirt and shorts, but I really love this figure. Out of all the Gear 2nd figures that are out there, I mean, there's only like 2 or 3. This one is my favorite. And right after I recorded that audio, the Portrait of Pirates one wasn't out, so that one looks like it's going to be great too. And now we're on to the top shelf. So there's 15 figures here, 14 of them are One Piece, one of them is from Zelda. So yeah, this is Urbosa by First 4 Figures. And then we have over here on the very left, Ivankov, the Grand Line Series one. And then beside him is Emotional Stories, Revelable Moment, Chopper, and Hiraluke. And then above him is Brook. And that Brook's from the same set as the Frankie that I showed earlier. And I think that's also my favorite Brook figure. Then below Urbosa, we have the Figuart Zero, Black Ball Nami. So I really like this one. I like all the effect pieces. You can see the lightning and her thunder clouds. And I like the red dress too. I wish they would have made more figures of Nami like that. I mean, I guess they always could. Sometimes they do go back and make older things. So someday maybe we will get another one. But yeah, this one's great. And then above her, we have the Soul Gorgeous statue Ulti. So it's Ulti in her hybrid form. And one thing I hope they make someday is Ulti in her like full beast form, at least as a WCF. They didn't even make that as a WCF. There's like no figure of that. And I don't think there ever will be. Then below her, we have Sanji, and he's from the same set as that Luffy that I showed earlier. I like how this one's able to stand up without any support poles. He just has the big old chunk of flame stuck into the base, and that's enough to hold him up. Then behind him, I have the super styling Frankie. And below Frankie is Gaimon and Sarfunkel. So these are 2 characters I never expected to see in the Grand Line series, and they turned out even better than I thought they would. They're definitely above average when it comes to Grand Line series figures. Then next up we have the Film Z Portrait of Pirates Kuzan. So this is one of my favorite Portrait of Pirates figures. Everything about it is just really well done. I especially like how they did the ice effects on his sleeve there. And he comes with some great accessories too, some alternate arms, a bag, a little bottle he can also hold. So yeah, I really like everything about this one. Then next we have a Doflamingo Den Den Mushi. So this is another one of those unlicensed resins, and I think it's the last one I'll be showing because I only have a few of them and I stopped collecting them a few years ago. So that's what that one is. Then above him is the Portrait of Pirates Maximum Doflamingo. Another great Portrait of Pirates figure. He's got a support pole right in the front there. I kind of just learned to look past it. I know a lot of people don't even use it, but when a figure comes with a support pole like that, I'm going to use it because I just don't want to take any risk of it leaning over time. And if I do take it off, I can already see him just slightly lower. But depending on who you ask, some people probably say, oh, he's perfect without the stand, not leaning at all. But I think he does. So I display mine like that. And then next to him, we have the little sexy weather guy. A WCF World Collectible Figure is what WCF stands for, if you don't already know that. And yeah, that's one of the things I love about WCF figures is we get so many figures, so many characters that we wouldn't otherwise get because the other figure lines just don't make characters like him. And then yeah, he's on the base of the Portrait of Pirates Nami, the Water 7 look. I can't remember the exact name of this one. I'll put it somewhere in the video or in a link in the description. I think I'm actually going to put a link in the description for all the figures I have in each of my shelves. So if there's anyone watching this who's new to figures or just not familiar with every single thing I've shown, then those links should be pretty helpful. And that's it for the first shelving unit. There's a total of 95 figures here. And once I finish editing and uploading the next part, I'll have it right here on the screen and also a link to it in the description.